Watching France 24 live from Paris. Time now for Media Watch, for which we are joined in the studio by James Creedon. Thanks for coming
Luke
in.
Brown.
Well, I'm already here, but you're joining me.
Yes.
We've been speaking about this throughout the week, really this bit of a polemic, if you will,
Yes.
the controversy about Gérard Depardieu wanting Russian nationality. Now he's been followed, it would seem, by Brigitte Bardot, but she's not doing it for the same reasons as him. They were fiscal. This is apparently about elephants.
I think you'd call it a bit of a French farce, a little bit. It's getting a bit silly.
I can imagine both of them in a French farce some years ago.
Yes. Or today. Why not today? Why not now? Let's take a look at some of the reaction online to this. Luke, here is a photo of Brigitte as she is remembered in all her finery and beauty back in the day. And here is the communique that she released today on the 4th of January. Many journalists actually thought it was satirical, that it couldn't be serious. She's saying, well, because of two elephants in Lyon Zoo, bearing in mind she's a very well-known animal rights activist, she has fought for the life of these two animals, which are due to be put down, and she hasn't got her way. And she's saying, well, you know what? I'm going to follow Gérard to Moscow. Now, there's been no word from Putin just yet as to whether or not that demand will be successful, because as this Guardian article points out about Gérard Depardieu's exile, for most normal people that would take about 2.5 years to get a Russian passport. And in fact, for many expats living in Moscow, they prefer to hold on to their foreign passport because it's a sort of a protection. As soon as you are a Russian citizen, perhaps some funny business would be more likely to happen, or you would be less protected from funny business. I'm not saying any more than that. Now, Nice Matin...
You should be worried about funny business coming your way with that kind of...
Now, she spoke to Nice Matin, Brigitte Bardot. She lives in the south of France. Nice is in the south of France. She said, Putin has a lot of humanity. Each time I ask him for something, he gives it to me. And he's done more for the protection of animals than all our presidents. And also, she said, there's no Eid, which is a Muslim festival where they tend to kill it. You know, they eat sheep, and perhaps she's not happy at how that's prepared. Now, if she's talking about how well Putin looks after animals, she might be advised to have a look at this photo here.
Well, he is famous for photo opportunities with animals, if I remember rightly.
That's right. Now, that's whaling. He was whaling there. I don't think Brigitte would be a fan of that. Also, the hashtag Je demande la nationalité russe, that was very big on Twitter today. I'm asking for Russian nationality. People, picking up on the whole thing and having a bit of a laugh. And one person posted this, which is Putin with, I think that is a dead tiger.
I think it's been stunned.
Oh, it's been stunned, thank you. And he says, promise, promis, on s'occupera bien de tes animaux, Brigitte. We'll look after your animals, Brigitte. Cue evil chuckle. So there you go. Lots of other reactions on Twitter. One person saying Bardot wants to go to Russia but she hasn't figured out that the Russian hat, the chapka, and Russian coats are generally made of fur. So look, the list is long in terms of the kind of ironies and lack of consistency with that whole Brigitte going to Moscow thing.
Well, we haven't had much of a mention there from Brigitte Bardot about the possible human rights issues going on in Russia.
Yes.
There's a lot of reaction, though, about Gérard Depardieu, his decision for that passport. Many criticising him about the bit of the outburst that he made, the letter that he had, calling Russia a great democracy.
That's right. He said it was a great democracy. This was in a phone call. Well, he spoke out on a number of occasions. And then in a phone call with François Hollande yesterday, he said that the French Prime Minister calling him pathetic, you wouldn't get that sort of thing in Russia. So, a lot of journalists responding to that and saying, look, this just isn't really consistent. Russia is not a great democracy, and there are many, many examples of that. And as you have on the Nouvel Observateur website here, you have a list of all the reasons why irregularities in the last elections, the cult of personality around Putin, etc., etc. There are many reasons. Now, Le Point is pointing out that the Ecological Party, the Greens in Paris, are asking for the Pussy Riot group to be made honorary citizens of Paris. This in answer to the fleeing of French luminaries in the other direction. Now, this is worth mentioning too, Luke. This is in Basta Mag online. They're saying, look, the whole point here is Gérard Depardieu wouldn't be who he is only for the French state funding the French cinema industry. He wouldn't have all the money he has. He wouldn't have the stature he has only for the fact that France massively pumps state money into the French cinema, unlike in other countries. So he kind of has the state to thank in some senses too for his money.
Well, very briefly, I've just got time for one final story. And this is a bit of a strange exchange between a dictator's daughter the dictator of Uzbekistan.
That's right. Now, here is Gulna Karimova. This is in the on a New Yorker blog, pointing out that there was a rather odd exchange. She's the daughter of a dictator. She has been, amongst other things, the ambassador to Spain, permanent representative to the UN. She's been a pop star, a Harvard graduate, and now a Twitter aficionado. And basically, the head of the International Crisis Group picked up on the rather great irregularities in Uzbekistan when it comes to torture, and she started responding in pretty appalling English. You can see here. She also started responding to a BBC journalist. May I have firm, precise cases? So if she's a Harvard alumni, that's I don't know what I am. And just quick word, the link is she and Gérard Depardieu did a duet back in December. So Gérard Depardieu is popping up in all sorts of crazy stories anywhere and everywhere in the past 2 months. And yes, so Uzbek dictator's daughter and Gérard.
As they say in France, la boucle est bouclée, the circle is closed. James Pruden, thank you very much for Media Watch there. You're watching France 24 live from Paris. It's now time to take a look at this week's latest buzz on the net in web news.